Hello everybody, we are Poison Fog Gaming and we are back with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Once again, this is the career mode and today we are doing Broom Lake. Just a little heads up, ignore the webcam of me talking. I was doing this live, it wasn't up to the standard I hoped, so now I'm doing a voiceover. So Broom Lake, as mentioned, a sci-fi themed map. We have our usual objectives: Apprentice, Entrepreneur and Tycoon. Apprentice this time is a park value of 15,000 and a VIP with a high tolerance to breakdowns. Entrepreneur, we have a VIP whose breakdown tolerance is medium and we have to repay the loan. Oh god, our favourite. And for Tycoon, we have a park value of 30,000 and a VIP with a breakdown tolerance of high. We've just had the accounts screen up there. We have a maximum of 12,000. 10,000 of that is a loan. So obviously, to get our entrepreneur status, we have to repay a loan that we are forced to use, because right now we have nothing. And that is the particular challenge here. And I've done this scenario a couple of times. The best way I've found of doing it, while also making it quite speedy and suitable for YouTube, is to use all of that starting money and create not just one small, cheap, inexpensive coaster with high ratings, but two small, cheap and inexpensive roller coasters with high ratings. And on top of that, we add in a thrill ride as well. Between those three different roller coasters, or those three different rides I should say, that should give you enough money to get enough people into the park, as well as start to rebuild all of that money. So we're starting here with roller coaster number 1. In my experiments beforehand, this roller coaster was always above ground. Although I've learned since that it's actually sometimes cheaper to go underground. You don't need to go as high when doing that, and it doesn't cost as much as you might think to dig out the ground. So this one went underground, and the result is fairly similar to when it went overground. But I think it even helps, especially when you get to the ride, on the point of view ride. When you come underground in this coaster, especially once you're going backwards, and you're about to see how it's going to go backwards shortly, it definitely adds something. 100%. So what you see here is the final layout, I believe. The roller coaster goes up all the way to the end, narrowly avoids getting launched off, and its own momentum from that height sees it fully back the track in reverse back to the station. You'll also notice I've only used about 2,500 on that roller coaster, so not a great deal of money at all. Plenty left over for the paths and the stations, even though they're built up on stilts, and we still leave us with half of our budget for a second roller coaster. So building the roller coaster that way, yes, there's a pre-built coaster in a similar manner, but yeah, obviously you're going by each of the track elements twice, which adds to your excitement rating and your intensity rating. Oh, pardon me, I yawned. It also adds to the nausea rating as well, but you can't have it all your way. So that's roller coaster number 1 built, and we are going to ride it later. In the meantime though, we go straight on to roller coaster number 2. So this is our inverted corkscrew coaster. I believe that's what it's called. Quite close into the path here, so it isn't going to be the easiest to get the queues and stuff connected up. but there is still that gap of 2, which will allow us to do that in the end. I've also decided to change this to a powered launch coaster. Again, it just seems to be cheaper. A long lift hill is an awful lot of segments you have to build, which we don't really have the money for. So straight out of the gates, this one gets pushed downhill at 30 miles per hour. And unlike the other one, where there's long, big, sweeping drops and ups and downs, this one is tighter. It's got a tight inverted corkscrew, which then goes to a very tight helix, into another inverted corkscrew which double backs on itself, a couple of little S-bends, and straight back home. The lift hill needed to get back is absolutely nothing upon the lift hill that you would need to go up in order to give a good ride. The autocomplete feature almost messed me up there. I felt I needed another little segment of chain lift just to make sure we did get back home without any problems. At this point in my playthrough, I've not yet tested it for excitement, and right now I'm just making sure we have 2 trains with as full a capacity as possible to go around the course. At this point, I don't believe it won't make it home. It's just a case of wanting to know what the numbers are, and if I need to edit it, this is the point that I would edit it. Those are good numbers though, I'm very happy with that. You can tell I've had a practice run at this map. Technical difficulties and the likes unfortunately meant we are back doing it again with the voiceover. And as you can see, we can get our queue in, and I've just nudged it over for aesthetics more than anything else, so it matches up with the entrance to that little hub with a few shops in it. I think at this stage it's very worth me saying that my last Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 video went down very well, lots of views, loving all the attention that it's got, so thank you very much to every single one of you who has been supporting any of my videos in the past, and indeed a big thank you for liking this one. So yep, usual YouTuber stuff. It does inflate my ego something terrible, but comments, likes, views, they are all incredibly useful, and it's a really big factor for me making more videos. Simple as that. I actually believe this part got a little bit more aesthetic love than usual, just as a result of the attention the last video got. I think something to do with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 being back on the market. Big help. It's had a little bit of a popularity spike. The staffing that we're putting in, bare bones. Only 2 janitors and one maintenance person. What do they call them in this game? Mechanics, I believe. We just don't have the money. Research, slim it down. We don't need that much stuff. And out of the list, we need even less of that. We're only going to be using the metal paths, for example. We're not going to have water elements or pools, rides. Water rides, I should say. So a lot of that we can slim down. You can see we are making a negative. Where the peeps actually spawn in is very far away from... In fact, that's the first peep to ride that ride you just saw on the screen there. The peeps have to walk a long way from the start to get up to this little hub. But I don't like breaking the parks. I like to just run the parks as they are. I don't like to destroy anything, so that is why I built what I did, and we're on the POV for the second coaster we built. There we go. Big inverted coaster into somebody's head. Into somebody's head again on the tight helix. Up and over that sort of switchback, corkscrew. Up the chain lift, and as you can see, we only really need a boost from the chains right at the very top. So we're not wasting anyone's time. It's a nice quick thrill. It's exciting. And whoever rode that, £5 down. In somebody's head again for on the second coaster, through the ground, another big dip, loop the loop, up to the absolutely terrifying bit where the track just runs out. You think you're safe, but now you're going backwards round the loop, and just look at this when it goes underground. Backwards, and a big dip, into darkness, into the flashing lights. And you ask yourself how, but you are safe. Again, nice and quick, no waiting. And we're in an awkward little spot now in the game, which I believe is inevitable, no matter how good you are at the game. But now it's a case of sit and wait for that money to roll in. The VIP is coming, there's nothing else we need to do to prepare for the VIP coming. But we've got no more money, we can't take out any more money. So it's just a case of do what we can. I've put some bins around to please the peeps. Also bear in mind, very few janitors, so more bins will help them keep the park nice and tidy. And I just could not bear having that big cutout in the land, so we smoothed that off. It only cost around about 50 units of currency, so no biggie. There's no point really trying to get our loan paid off yet, because the VIP's not even been. Just checking what shops originally came on the map, and I've added in a second drink stall, a different type to the one previous. Annoyingly, that scenery, if you turn it off, it turns off the shops as well, so it's very difficult to actually show you in there or see in there yourself. But if you take enough time to peer through, you can find out what spaces there are and where you can add a shop. Similar to the bins now, lots and lots of benches making their way into the park. As mentioned, it's a very long walk from the entrance. People might get tired. We might as well give them a place to sit. Usually at the end of long walks or up the top of stairs, that's where I place the majority of my benches. Food courts as well, although we really don't have a food court in this park. A little bit of extra pathing just to facilitate more seats there. The money yet is still not rolling in as I'd like, but we do have the VIP. What you'll find as soon as we get the VIP gone, if we don't already manage to get, I know we're doing this first yet, the thrill ride. Remember I said we had a thrill ride as well? The profit made from the thrill ride as opposed to the gentle rides is basically second to none, so why on earth not use it? Did have a little bit of a problem with the train here. This game is notorious for having problems of that nature. If your paths don't connect, you might find that peeps don't actually manage to get from A to B, which is why I've taken a particularly long amount of time fiddling with this, and I believe I actually had to go into the landscaping options just to make sure absolutely everything got connected. Right, yeah, that's right, I had to go into it twice because it's just that poor a system. You'll also notice there I've disconnected the other path, so that needs to be redrawn in. But that's fine, we had time to burn. The game is currently being run at double speed and on speed 2. And of course we had to change the colours of that ride because honestly the default blue, red and yellow just does not fit this scenery at all. So we've gone for a sort of bronzy and silvery metallic colours, and we kept the red because there's plenty red in the fencing around. So you'll notice there that we actually already have enough park value to be a Tycoon. We just don't have the other boxes ticked off. We have the VIP leaving, which will allow us to do the entrepreneur goals. And then, only then, do they unlock. Mind your ears, that noise has always been loud. But we are now stuck in this loop whereby we have to pay off the loan, or we're just stuck here. Which means at this point, if you're not making money, it's game over. Even before this, if you were not making money, it's game over. And in terms of putting this on YouTube, you need to be making money quite quickly, otherwise your video is basically crap. And it's really going to be up to yourselves whether this video is or isn't crap, but I'm sure the reactions will speak for themselves. A few more items of staff now, just to keep the maintenance up, both guest happiness for cleanliness, and we've put in an entertainer there just to keep people happy, a second mechanic to make sure our rides are not broken down when the VIP comes. Now, an important little quirk of this game is the research, and you've just seen it there. I've now researched the robot arm, and I must say that is an incredibly overpowered ride. Incredibly overpowered. You can make that very exciting for very cheap, and you can charge about £6 a head for it. I deliberately did not use it. I didn't use it, A, because I don't need to, but B, if you are using this as a guide or a tutorial, the chances of you randomly unlocking that through research is quite slim. So that is the reason I decided not to take advantage of such a overpowered ride. I've literally just used the rides that were open to us at the start, and that's all I need. I don't even need all of them, if I'm honest. We don't use the dodge-em-like space saucers. So yeah, this is completely unlockable without research. Strictly speaking, you could turn research completely off, turn that budget all the way to 0, and that might get you there a little bit faster. Thought the trampolines right on the edge of the cliff was a nice little touch. And you can see the queues for laser tag, quite impressive. You also get big queues over the inverted spaceship thrill ride that we put in. I've forgotten its name. You'll see every time that finances screen comes up, we are £1,000 off of our loan every single time, and it is just a case of waiting it out. It's this odd little thing where building is both helpful and detrimental to you in the exact same breath, and you really need to be earning money faster than you're building. That said, you do still need to build, because your rides get a little bit more stale over time, and if you just left that park stagnant, what you would find is the number of people in your park isn't what it used to be, and therefore they're not spending as much money as they used to be spending. Decided that there was no more flat ground where we currently were to build our next couple of rides. Flying Saucers ride, that's the one we don't use, but we did stick in a cinema. This is partly just amusing myself as we're waiting, and it's partly to give that park rating a little bit of a boost and make sure plenty of people keep coming through the gate. Worth reminding you, we do already have all the park value needed. In fact, we've got more than double the park value needed. So we have now completed our entrepreneur. We have all the park value as stated in the world. It is just a case now of our VIP having one more visit to the park, and indeed leaving the park one last time, being satisfied at our maintenance, So you will see I have now bought a whole heap of janitors. I think there's 5 janitors there for a total of 6 rides plus about 5 shops. We should be able to do that. I have set all the inspection brackets to 10 minutes on all of the rides. So if anything's broken down, it better have a damn good excuse. It just shouldn't break down. Simple as that. He's already in the park, and I think it's already time I start to sign off because he's leaving. It will not take long, and that will be it. That is the end of the video as soon as he reaches the gate. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed watching. That is how to beat... There we go, I'm a Tycoon. That is how to beat the Broom Lake scenario. Share some love, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ra!